you for joining us for Talks with Tyler ISD, a podcast where we talk about all of the successful students, staff, alumni, and programs within Tyler ISD. And I am your host, Jennifer Hines. Today, we are talking with Suzette Farr, who is with Mentoring Alliance, and you're the Vice President of Marketing and Community Engagement. And we are so excited to have you here because you're also a TISD parent, and you've also gone to TISD schools.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. You went to school at Tyler ISD, and then you've got 2 kids now in the district.
Yes, absolutely. So I did have a chance to go to Tyler ISD schools when I was in 2nd grade. I went to Griffin. Fun fact, Reverend Mason was my principal then.
Oh, wow. That's so fun.
So it was very kind of 360 when I came back to Tyler. I was like, oh, hi, you're the board president.
Right.
So that was really great. I ended up eventually graduating from Hallsville High School. We do have currently 2 kids, Aiden and Jet, at Caldwell Arts Academy, but we have had a total of all 5 of our kids in our Brady Bunch have attended Tyler ISD schools. So we are definitely proud Tyler ISD parents through and through. We just love it. We love the district. And I just love all the things that I keep seeing, just like every little piece evolving a little bit more to make sure that we're providing things like really for kids, like so like particular to them. I love it. I just love it.
And you are quite active. I know you're active with Caldwell and all of the different parent groups that they have there as well.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have served in many capacities in PTAs. I have served on Tyler ISD Education Foundation Board. And I mean, I just love all things Tyler ISD. So anytime I get a chance to serve the district, I just love to jump in and do it. It's easy.
Well, so it was an easy fit for you to be at Mentoring Alliance, which is a huge partner for Tyler ISD. When did you move over there?
So I actually started at Mentoring Alliance on March 16th last year. So I think that was the Monday after the Sunday that they did the shutdown.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just in time.
Just in time. So I have been there a little over a year now, and I absolutely love it. I mean, you're right. It's an easy fit when you already love the district and the people that you serve, and you're so close and connected with them. It makes it so much easier to move into a role at Mentoring Alliance. So it's great.
Well, tell us a little bit for those that may not know that are listening or watching right now. Tell us, what is the Mentoring Alliance and what all do they stand for?
So at Mentoring Alliance, I would say that the best way to describe us starts right with our mission statement. So we exist to mobilize godly people into the lives of kids and families to provide tangible help and eternal hope. And we do that through our 3 programs. And those 3 programs are our Mentor Alliance After School program, which is our Boys and Girls Club of East Texas, our Mentor Alliance summer camps program, which we do those in the summertime. And then we do our Mentor Connect program, which is our one-on-one mentoring program where we match godly people with mentees, usually students from Tyler ISD.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about that. Some people may have noticed that you paused there, and the reason is because y'all are in the middle of a rebranding. So if you know what Rose City Summer Camp is, it is now Mentoring Alliance Summer Camp.
Yes.
Yes. So if you're, and I'm, Rose City Summer Camp, because we've gone there. My kids, I've got 3 girls. They've all gone there and they've loved it. So it's going to take me a little bit to change to the Mentoring Alliance Summer Camp, but my kids love it. They come home. They are super excited. They love all the different days. And that's really what we want to talk about today, because summer is upon us.
Yes.
Now is the time to sign up. Tell us a little bit about the camps and what all they offer, because the part that for me as a parent that I love is that there's the academic component.
Absolutely.
That not necessarily other camps have. You want them to have fun, but then that's like the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. So you're right. That is definitely something that sets us apart from other summer camp options, because at Mentoring Alliance Summer Camps, which you're right, going through recent rebranding, everybody for years has been Rose City Summer Camps, because my kids have been a part of it. And I've even had kids that have been counselors in Rose City summer camp. So it is definitely different. But Mentoring Alliance summer camps, it is different because it does have that academic component. And it's so intentionally placed right there in the middle of camp. So your kids get to come. You get to have like this just crazy fun atmosphere, and obviously beautiful buildings here in Tyler ISD middle schools. So it's a familiar surrounding where they don't feel, like out of place necessarily. But then we get to have teachers come in and teach students, focusing in on reading and math. And from our studies, what we've been able to show is that if your kid spends at least 4 weeks in our summer camp programs, getting that extra help in academics and reading, you see progress and regression in that summer slide, as they like to say, where your kid gets to hop right back in school and be ready day one. And that's what we like to do. That's what we're here for.
And one of the things that I love, I remember my daughter coming home and I was like, did you do any of the academics today? And she was like, well, no. So I made a quick phone call and I was like, did they do that? And they were like, yeah, they just don't know it's happening. And I loved how they make it fun, so fun that they don't feel like it's schoolwork. And so for the reading portion, they were acting out a play and they were having to read the lines and play a part. And that was reading. So it's not necessary. I mean, yes, you have the part that's more a little bit like a school day portion, but then you have the part where it's fun and interactive and they don't even realize that they're working on their reading skills.
Absolutely. And that's what I love because Jet, first grader. Okay. First time to camp last summer. Last thing he's trying to hear is like, oh, you're going to do reading and math. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah. He's like, not going to happen.
Not going to happen. But same thing. He didn't even realize that that's what they were doing. And which is so great. But also I do like that in those moments that it was more structured, like, hey, we're focusing in on math. Let's sit down. Let's do this. Because of the ratio sizes of the groups, you're able to have more one-on-one time. They're able to really get in there. It was really great for me to see my daughter, who was going into 6th grade, do so much of that over summer camp this summer, and that math, that she felt so prepared going into 6th grade math as a 5th grader because of the intentionality. And she's like, I got to ask questions and it was just fun. And I learned this new formula, but in a different fun way. And I was just like, I love that, because at the same time, she's like, and then we went outside to water slides and, and all the fun things.
Yes. And I think that is one of the reasons that the kids can sit down and focus, because it's a short enough period of time sandwiched between lots of fun. So let's talk about the fun.
Yeah.
What are some of the different activities that they get to do? Because I feel like every day is a different day. They make it to where it's just really fun and constantly changing.
Absolutely.
And you keep their attention.
Absolutely. Okay. So, there is a little bit of everything for every child. Whether it is water slides, octoball, go-kart, buggies, soccer, basketball, bowling. Really turning a hallway in Moore or 3 Lakes into this bowling alley is pretty amazing.
I know they probably are just kind of in awe, because you had mentioned it earlier, but so it's actually Tyler ISD Middle School select locations that you run your summer camps out of.
Yes.
And so you really are turning, the middle school hallway and the 6th grade wing into a bowling alley.
Exactly.
And the kids, I know they love it. And what's even better is that they have the exposure to the middle school.
Yes.
You've got them kind of, us being a leader in me district. It's, begin with the end in mind. And so not necessarily that middle school is the end, but they can see the next step.
Yes.
And so by the time they do get to middle school, they're even more familiar with that building and what that looks like.
It's not so scary. They know their way around. Imagine a 2nd grader. by week 2, they're like, hold back. I got this,
but no fear.
No fear. But those first couple days, their eyes are this big seeing the middle schools. They're such big buildings compared to what they're used to, but they love it. And I think it's a little shocking at first. Like, do we really get to bowl this ball down a hallway at school?
Are you sure? Are you sure I could do this?
They're like,
I'm not going to the principal's office.
You're not going to there's no principals here.
Yes. I love
So
that.
it's so fun. And that's really what we love, is that we get to take something that might usually feel like, oh, this is school, and turn it into this really fun place, but not lose the importance and the essence of the academic success component that's so important to us, because it's one of our 5 priority outcomes. So we want to make sure we focus in on that. And it's great to have partners like Tyler ISD who help us facilitate that and make that possible by providing teachers who can come and help. And I mean, it's just such a great thing. And it's so exciting to see the teachers on the first week, because they're so excited, because they're like, okay, we get to teach, but this like is a different way, like they get to get real fun. And like you said, there's plays. They're coming up with all kinds of ways to get them to come out of their shell. And I love it that each week, in 10 weeks of camp, each week there's a new theme day on Friday, and the kids dress up, and it's so fun. And so I just think all of that just adds to really what Mentoring Alliance Summer Camps is. It is camp with academic components. It is camp with Bible study. It's camp with all the things that kids really love, but in a really great, safe place.
And just like camp, they have a camp counselor and they have a cabin, so to speak.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
they do have, it's not like they're just thrown in with hundreds of kids. They've got their counselor. They've got their small group that goes from activity to activity.
Yes.
So it isn't completely overwhelming for those parents that might have a child that's a little bit more timid or shy.
Yes.
So definitely don't want parents to think that it's just so overwhelming or gigantic, because you bring it down
absolutely
to that fun level as well, and comfortable level.
Yes, and keeping our ratios no more than 1 to 10. A lot of times it's 1 to 8 in our ratios. It is, and they are with that group and that cluster all week. And honestly, just as even though we're getting a little bit more relief this summer than we had last summer, we will still try to keep kids in their groups week after week. And so they're really building deep relationships and new friendships right there. But it is based off of age groups and incoming grades. So we keep all those kinders right there with them themselves and first. And so we really bring it down to size. So it's not very overwhelming. But they do get a chance to meet other kids outside of that group. So you don't have to feel like, oh, they're only going to meet 8 friends like the whole time. No, they'll go to the lunchroom and they'll have fun activities. They'll do some cross collaborating, some of those fun activities. Yes. But when they're in those academic class, they really get that one-on-one attention. And I think that's what a lot of parents just really love about it.
Absolutely. And that portion is Tyler ISD teachers that come in and help.
Yes.
But it's Mentoring Alliance staff that run the camps.
Absolutely.
And so parents can kind of have a peace of mind with that, because they have been vetted, they have been trained, and all of that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's quite a rigorous process to get through to become one of our amazing camp counselors. But we do that with such great diligence because we care so much about the children and we want to make sure it's a safe place. So, I mean, we go far beyond just the standard like background checks. I mean, we're talking about character checks. We're making sure they go through very extensive training. They honestly come in for a little over a week of training. And then if you're in our leadership role, you're there for 2 weeks of training.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
And so it's pretty in depth, but it's so that we know that we have safe staff, that we have safe people that are very highly vetted, and it's done with such great diligence, because again, when you are putting them in a place next to 5-star educators, we also want to make sure that our staff rise to the same excellence that Tyler ISD expects out of their staff. So it's a great win-win all the way around. And I mean it's college kids mostly, so it's not like they're coming to camp and they're like sitting down, and it's more like a little bit of VBS and maybe your Sunday school teacher.
Yes.
These are like college kids.
They have just as much energy as the kids do.
Yes.
They're energetic and fun, and
Absolutely.
they like to laugh and goof off. And
yes.
and
they get it. They're not too far removed from understanding that kids
what it
have
was
to get
like.
the wiggles out,
Yes,
they're going to be jittery.
And I love that, because they get their wiggles out and then they come home exhausted, which is super nice for parents. So love that.
Like, well, you can't even make it home without them being asleep in the car. Moms win.
It is a win. It is a win. The other thing that is a win for moms, because I know most moms have what I call summer Jenga. And that is, I mean, summers can be a headache for, a single mom that works, or if you have a double working, or, dual income home
Uh-huh.
where you've got everyone and, the adults working, finding those places that you can send that work with a, work schedule. It's not 9 to 1.
Right.
That I have found as someone that has worked most of my life, the most difficult. But I love this because it is the majority of the summer and it's within work hours. Kind of
Absolutely.
explain how that works.
Yes. So our Mentoring Alliance summer camps actually start this year, May 31st. So, I mean, your kids get to come right back into a space that Monday. So there's no lag time between what am I going to do with my kids for a week? We don't have that in this. And then it goes for 10 weeks this summer. And so we're able to make that happen because, again, that keeps it kind of, again, no lag time really there. Camps are open from 7:30 to 5:30. Of course, there is grace extended for those parents that get off at 5:30 to get over to pick up your kids. We're not going to push them out into the street and say, see you tomorrow. So that's always great. I know. I mean, we get that question a lot. Like, what if I get off at 5:30? We will still be here with your child until you get here. And you're not going to get a bunch of phone calls and you're not going to get charged by the minute,
Right. That's good to know because some places will do that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we get these questions every day when somebody registers because they've had that experience. And so, of course, we don't have that. And so it is all day and that makes it very helpful. Also, we have it where it's from, coming in from incoming first graders through seventh grade. That's wonderful. So that's really great as well because it's more of a wide range. It kind of keeps it in probably the age bracket of where kids would be coming if they have siblings. They're probably all right there together in that bracket. Yeah. So everybody gets to come. Yes. And so that's always great. But then even with that, when you start to think about, man, that can get kind of pricey. It's all income based on your household income. So it's kind of like, we're not going to turn away, any child by any means, or any family due to financial reasons. Money will not keep a child from having a safe place to go and have fun this summer so their parents can go to work with peace of mind. We are here to be a help and not a hurdle. And so, I think that's kind of the great thing. And then also because it's in so many different locations, it's like you can pick the location that's closest to you or on the way to work or closest to when you get off work. Cause if you got to get there, it makes it where it's so flexible to be able to do. And even thinking about like, hey, what about those kids that might be a little outside that seventh grade? Like, what can they do? Well, if you're incoming eighth grader through junior year, you can be part of our camp crew as volunteers and get prepared to be like counselors once you get older. And then if you're at the point where you're 17, about to be a senior, you can come work for us and get paid for the summer before you go off into your senior year or into college. So, I mean, we make sure we have a place for all of our students in our district to have somewhere to go over the summer.
I love that because I have a seventh grader. She will be going this year, but then next year I was like, well, what do I do? Because I've got two younger ones that will be going back. And so that's good to know that they get to go and volunteer. And it's almost like a counselor in training.
It is.
And to be able to have that because they're on that side going to learn leadership.
Absolutely.
And all sorts of other great qualities.
Absolutely.
So many people say this is the best deal in town. And I know that you have said, it's income based, but I want to say the most that you would pay full price is $149,
and that includes
I don't know
breakfast,
any
lunch,
place
and
else
snack.
All of that. So they do get fed. You just mentioned that.
Absolutely.
We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah.
Breakfast, snack, lunch.
Yeah.
And so even if you are paying full price, it's still a great deal.
Absolutely.
And as a parent, you can pick and choose your weeks. You are not locked in for all 10.
No, you get to choose which weeks you want to go. So if you already have family vacation plan, don't pick that week. Don't pay that week. You only have to pay one registration fee. So just because you register this week, you don't turn around and because you don't come back for another 3 weeks, pay another. Nope. That's it. One registration fee. You're in. There's also multi-child discounts so that we help with that. There's also financial assistance and scholarships available because, we know that everyone might need a little help no matter where they come in at. If they have multiple children or, if like, hey, it might say that because I barely kind of came in that threshold. So I might need a little help. We're going to help you. And so I think that's what makes it so great is because it is the best deal in town. Because, no one can't find a place right here. And the experience remains the same. It's not some watered down program based off of where you land or what you can do, or is each week a little different, differently in a good way, like fun, but it doesn't water down the experience as it goes on. And we get asked that question often, like, so does it just kind of lag off? Do you stop doing activities once you hit and we're like, nope. It's all the way through.
It keeps going.
All the way through. Going. Absolutely.
So definitely don't let the cost be a barrier because there is some flexibility there.
Absolutely.
I love that part of it. Now, I'm sold. I'm a parent. Where do I go to sign my kid up or kids?
Okay.
I have several. Not everybody has several, but I have several.
Yes. Okay. So you can go out to the mentoringalliance.com and you go right there to that homepage and you just click register now, because summer camp is the first thing that pops up right there. And you're able to go and fill out all of your information right there online. You can apply for your financial aid if you need it right there online. If you're like, hey, I wonder where I'm going to fall, there's actually a calculator on there where you can put your household income and how many children you have, and it'll give you kind of an estimate like, hey, you're going to be about right here. So you don't even have to be concerned like, oh, what are they going to say?
You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to have, because that, when you talk about finances, that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. So it's good to just be able to see it right there.
Absolutely.
Kind of get a little bit of a solid answer of what you think it might be, so that you don't have to have that conversation just yet. But just know that, even if you have to have that conversation, it is such a grace-based and just honoring process that, again, that's what we are here for at Mentoring Alliance, is to help and it is to serve. So, we are ready to do that. We're ready to step in and fill the gap. So, don't be afraid. Do not let finances deter you from having a safe place for your kid to go, or, even if you're at home, but having a place where your kid can get additional resources like that reading and, math, and just having that and getting them off the couch and not in the house. Like, come on, we got you covered at Mentoring Alliance. And so if you're sitting here now and you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, well, my child isn't in a Tyler ISD school, even though maybe you should have your child in a Tyler ISD school. It's not closed to just Tyler ISD students. That is one thing that we do need to kind of point out, because it is open to anyone within those grades.
Anyone. So, grandparents, if you have some grandkids coming to visit and you like, hey, I need a place for them to go, we got you covered. They don't have to come here to Tyler ISD. Any schools here in the Tyler area, you are able to get your child into our programs. We do not have anything that would discriminate or deter from being able to do that. And they all get the exact same experience. They all get the exact same care as far as financial assistance and things like that. It's for everyone. And so we want everyone to have a place, a safe place to be. But again, I will say, if you're not in Tyler ISD, but your kid comes, it will be a great time where they get to see academics and stuff kind of laid out in a different way, in a different experience. And so that's going to be really fun, because we hear that a lot. And we have great advocates outside that send their kids to our, they tell their parents in other districts like, hey, send your kids here because this will help them, and because they don't offer that there. So it's really great. And you're right. Anyone from anywhere can come. And so we're excited to have a really great summer this summer.
Is there anything else that you think that we need to share with those that are listening right now that we haven't talked about yet when it comes to the Mentoring Alliance summer camp that you think is important for maybe that parent or grandparent to know?
Yeah. I will say probably the last thing that I would just like to probably drive home really is, again, camp is for everyone. There is not any child that doesn't enjoy the summer camp experience. And it is so, good for those younger ones that aren't quite ready for some overnight camp type of experience yet. This is all day camp. But again, we are so here to serve, and we're just so excited to do whatever it takes to make sure that we give parents the peace of mind to go to work, have their kids in a safe place, but at the same time, serve alongside Tyler ISD educators to help combat that summer slide. So I definitely think that, hey, Jen already said it. It is the best place in town. Like, you can't beat this right here. for sure.
I love it. I love it. Well, Mentoring Alliance, a wonderful partner with Tyler ISD, Mentoring Alliance Summer Camp, a successful partnership that we have there as well and program. So definitely check it out if you're thinking about this for this summer. Lots of options out there when it comes to that. As Suzette said, they all start May 31st, run for 10 weeks. You can go to mentoringalliance.com to get all of the details. Suzette Farr, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Absolutely. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of Talks with Tyler ISD. Be sure to share this episode with your friends and family and check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify. We'll see you next time.